Welcome back to the BFF podcast, the Best Foot Forward podcast. I'm Ann Duskus of Studio Duskus, and here with me is my co-host.
It's me, Vic from C'est La Vic. Hello, everyone. How's it going, Ann?
Hello. Literally, there is drilling noise in the background.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you don't know, our studio is located on the mezzanine level. Mezzanine level.
We're talking about this face exercises.
Mezzanine level.
So we can enunciate.
We should just say that like 5 times fast.
Mezzanine.
You didn't say it 5 times.
Mezzanine. 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 There you go.
Yes, we're located on the mezzanine level of a metal shop.
Yeah.
So there's always stuff going on, which actually we love. Mm-hmm. We love just that like hustle and bustle of like stuff that's always going on.
I've always been like, I studied in coffee shops. I typed up my thesis in coffee shops. Like, I love the noise in the background. It keeps me awake.
Girl.
So, yeah.
I don't know how you do it, because when I do things like, for example, like you just mentioned your thesis, when I have to write a serious email response.
I mean, I have my headphones on or like whatever, but I still like that busy environment of things happening.
Just like that energy and that flow versus like actually hearing the background noise.
I'm not somebody who locks themselves in a room and then just stays there.
Got it.
Other than editing.
Yeah.
So don't get me started.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, that's my life now.
Yeah.
But
it's not easy being a YouTuber, you know?
I can't even, I feel like we're still getting comfortable with that term. But
I mean, okay, real talk. How many YouTube videos do you have like released in the public, like in the world, in the wild?
Gosh, I have no idea. Do Best Foot Forward podcast count?
No, it
Those
does not
YouTube
count.
videos.
No, girl, it does not count. Like the C'est La Vic channel.
I want to say like 5 or 6. I'm totally wrong because I don't. YouTube is a thing. Instagram, I will go back and I'll scroll to see like what I've done in the past. YouTube is one of those things where it's out there in the world. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to know the numbers. I don't want to like. For some reason, it's just one of those things.
But do you have one of those things turned on where you'll get like email, or I don't know if it's notification or whatever, but I have this thing, I haven't found where to turn it off yet, but I'll get an email if someone like comments on my
delete.
Post. Stop! Hilarious. You do not do that. That is so funny. Wait, so you don't reply to those comments?
I haven't. I've been really bad at replying to YouTube. And again, I think this is a reflection of like the fact that I haven't focused entirely on it. It's just, I know it's something I have to do, so then I do it and then I forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sorry if you watch my YouTube videos and I don't comment. It's not because I hate you. It's because I can't like bring myself to look back at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I mean, this is not the episode that we're talking about this right now, but this is so interesting because I feel like because like YouTube is a social channel like TikTok and Instagram. But it's so funny because both you and I have a YouTube channel, a TikTok page that we don't engage in, and an IG account. Why is it that we're so much more involved with IG than everywhere else? Like, why is that? Is it because that's the place where you have the biggest following?
I mean, the people on IG made me, so I've got to give them a lot more time. But I feel like it's a lot less of a commitment to me. Because it used to be like post a picture, respond, like chat with people that are in the community. With videos, it's like a lot. It's too much effort, I think.
Really? But I mean, I don't know, but I imagine like, wouldn't that be the same? Like for YouTube, like have you gotten more like in-depth questions with YouTube than you have with IG? Or like what is it about it?
I think the process itself is more intensive because it takes me a month to do a YouTube video versus an IG post can take me also can take up to a month.
I was gonna say,
girl, it's like a photo or like something that I can edit that's a little bit shorter than YouTube. YouTube has like traditionally been for me a much longer process, and like I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to get to shorter videos, but like right now, still so long.
Okay, So then one would argue that because you spend so much time on that one video, that you would be more invested in checking in on the people who are watching that video.
You know, when you've done so much and you're so fed up with the editing process, or like you put so much work into something and then I'm done with it. I don't want to look at it. It's done, checked off my list, and I'll come back to it when I come back to it, move on to the next thing. I think that's for me what YouTube is. It's strange, I know.
Yeah. I'm like
I know.
trying to dissect what is happening right now.
Yeah. And then I think Instagram just constantly takes my attention away again, where it's like, oh, okay, I know I need to post consistently on Instagram. Whereas YouTube, I've been slacking, for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm like so...
Do you respond to everything? Everywhere?
I mean, girl, I have 30 subscribers, so nobody comments on my thing, okay?
Okay, but like, even,
Yeah.
I feel like even with Instagram, it's like, we've got like this, this is interesting because I feel like this is morphing into something else. But like on Instagram, we will have different levels of like engagement with people too. So like, do you feel that that's going to be the same thing that you do on YouTube, or you feel YouTube is different?
Okay, so I had a person that commented on my one and only YouTube video the other day.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I got to respond to this. I
Yeah.
made an effort,
Yeah.
you know? And I have like the YouTube app, like Creators app on my phone, so I can do that quickly. And then, and that motivation sort of came from like this thing that I heard the other day from this big YouTuber that I know. I'm like,
Okay.
do I follow him on YouTube? Shh, I don't. But
You watch his content, or you've clicked on his content.
I listen to his podcast.
Right.
So.
Right.
But then he was like, and okay, Vicky, like this is Mike, right? Drum with Mike and Eddie. So this is Mike, and so he has like I think over 200,000 subscribers. Okay,
On YouTube.
subscribers on YouTube, and then he has like 150K followers on IG. And then he made a really interesting comment that made me think, because I'm like, okay, he has a huge following. And so because of just the ratio, you know, like anything that he would post, like he's guaranteed to have X amount of likes and like X amount of comments.
Yeah.
And he is a one-man show. And so for him to respond and like go in and like everything and respond to all the comments is a freaking full-time gig.
Yeah, of course. You literally have to carve out time in your day,
Right.
just to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I have like 6,000 followers and I feel like it's too much, you know?
Yeah.
And but then he was like, you know, if these people are going to take the time out of their day to watch my content, like my content, and make a comment, I mean, that's a lot of work and effort on one's part.
Yep.
So like it almost like makes no sense to me that as a content creator who's creating the content for these people that I wouldn't respond to them.
Yep.
You know? And so he makes every effort to like respond to every comment. And I was like, good on you, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly how I feel for Instagram. And
Yeah.
that's why like every single comment, everybody that's in my DMs, usually, I mean, don't spam me with things, but like usually I will take the time out to have a conversation or like at least respond to the best of my abilities. If it gets too busy, then, you know, I can't help it, but that's what I try to do. And totally it's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
I used to be doing that on my, the last apartment. This is like bougie as heck, but it totally is not like reflective of real life. But I used to live in an apartment during COVID when rent was like super low and there was a hot tub. Do you remember that? So at nighttime, I would work,
Yeah.
and then I would go into the hot tub for like 15 minutes, and I would be responding to Instagram messages there.
That's
like,
actually a good place.
Oh my
because
God.
you're relaxing and you're
but
just like
that lasted for like a year because I could not afford rent in that place anymore. And so like that was literally like the time that I had to carve out to do it, because like, or it would be like right when I wake up in the morning or right before I go to bed. It's like the extra time that I have would be used to do more work. you know? So it's a whole thing. But YouTube for me is just a mental hurdle that I'm getting over at my own time. And like, I'm really grateful for people leaving comments and stuff. I totally love you guys for it, but like, it's not that I'm not responding because I'm not trying to. I'm like getting over some things. Yeah.
I hear you, dude. And also, can we just take a moment to give all of our listeners on here and on YouTube, you know, listeners who are watching our YouTube content, thank you so much
Seriously.
for also making comments and liking our videos. It really helps us, you know, with just building out more content for you guys.
Yes, totally. I mean, I don't know why we've never shouted them out, but literally there are a handful of people who comment on every single video.
I know, thank
They
you.
listen to every single podcast, and we're so grateful that you do that, because that's like, when we started this, we were like, nobody's gonna watch it. It's okay. It's like for the two of us to just, you know, shoot the ish and like get stuff out. And I can't believe people are actually watching.
I
So
know.
thank you
It
guys so
really
much.
keeps us going. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
your
We
participation.
should need to make like a gratitude video, like just
We should.
30 minutes of like saying thank you to you guys. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and we can give each of them a shout out. Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we should do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Noted.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to talk about today, Vicky?
We wanted to talk about networking, which is like something that I think is so interesting, because I want to hear your take on it. And you're such a people person. And I feel like you just have, like, if you know Ann in person, or if you've ever interacted with her, you are just so like outgoing and energetic and just like genuine when you interact with people. So I feel like, you know, is it something that comes naturally to you when you're networking, or like, what's your take on that?
Okay. Man, I meant to like look at the dictionary this morning about something, because now I want to say something, but I'm like, no, but I don't even know if I'm saying it right, so I can't say it. But
Try us.
But remember, like, you were like, was it recently we had this conversation, or like on and off we had this conversation about like, oh, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert?
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that plays a role in how we present ourselves with new people, or in a group setting, or even in a place where, again, like new people, where you have to introduce yourself and just like make small talks.
Yeah.
You know, and I was listening to a podcast, and this, and I learned this new thing that I love, and he was talking about the definition, or what is introvert and what is an extrovert. And if you're an introvert, you start the day with 5 coins. And every time you have interaction with somebody, you give away a coin.
Yeah.
And then, but if you're an extrovert, you start the day with no coins.
Yeah.
And every time you interact with somebody, you receive a coin, because you're energized by that interaction.
Right.
And then I remember you had mentioned to me that like, you're the introvert, where like after you're on for like, you know, the day, and you just want to go home, you're so exhausted, you know. And then I remember you had said something to me. It's like, oh, like you're totally energized like by this, like all of these social interaction, right? But then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, I think I'm a little bit of both.
Okay.
And I think it's okay to be both, because I absolutely just like thrive on like social interactions, you know, and this plays into like the nature of networking, and why I enjoy it so much. But then I also just like absolutely freaking love it when I just have time to myself, you know, and I can just like do whatever the heck I want and not having to talk to anybody, and just like zone out, you know?
Totally.
So I feel like I'm definitely both. Like I love it, and I also don't have to have it.
Right.
You know?
There are also people who are social vampires, and right, that take a lot of effort out of you, and interacting them, which just like saps all of your energy. And I feel like I could sometimes be that as well, but then I also see people that, so like it depends on who I'm interacting with. There are people that energize me. There are people where I don't have to have my guard up when I talk to them. You're one of them, like John's one of them, for example. Like I can just talk and talk and talk, and I don't feel tired. And like like closest friends are like that.
Makes sense.
Whereas people where I'm in like unfamiliar, I don't know them that well, or I feel like I have to put up a front or like act a certain way, I feel like that's a little bit more draining to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I'm totally an extrovert. I would go on lives and then black out. Like literally black. I'm not even exaggerating.
Are you extrovert or introvert?
Introvert.
Okay.
Yeah, like fully an introvert. And there are people that I can talk for days.
Yeah.
I can talk on like we talk a crap load,
yes.
right, in the studio. So like I can talk and talk and talk. But there are some people where I can talk and talk and talk, and then after 2 hours I'm done.
Yeah.
Like literally will crawl into bed.
Yeah.
I have done lives where when I was like used to be at the studio, I do less lives now, but like maybe that's why, because I don't have a place to black out.
Girl.
Yeah. But you would literally find me in bed, passed out for a good hour or two before I can get up and keep working or keep doing my thing.
Yo, I remember, okay, you listeners, Vicky used to send me these photos. I don't know if you take them right before you pass out or you have somebody else that takes it, but then it literally is you wrapped up in a blanket in your cocoon and just like
Moose takes
passed
them
out.
with my phone. Yeah, literally just passed out. And I'm just like, why would you take a picture? Like that's,
It's so perfect.
Nobody needs to know, but
But it's exactly like you're describing right
Yes,
now, like
yes.
in the flesh.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't. I'm just, yeah. So that's why doing YouTube, being online, putting yourself out there is such a drain, but strangely enough, like I'm still motivated to do it. And
Yeah.
I still feel like, I believe that the more I do it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So like, let's go back to networking.
What were we talking
Tangents.
about? This episode is everywhere. I love it.
No, I love it. So if we're talking about networking. First of all, what is the purpose of networking, do you think? Like, if you can define it, what is the purpose of it?
For me, networking is like being able to have a group of people that are within your circle, within your network, or people that you know, that you can get to know and figure, like, sort of things will come up where you are able to use, collaborate with people or be able to see, like, where people will have their strengths and weaknesses and come together to do something. Like, if we're talking purely networking, and this is like, let's say it's purely business or something, be able to get to know somebody well enough such that you know, okay, if something needs to be done, oh, maybe they could be a contact, or an opportunity comes up, even if it's irrelevant to you, oh, I might know somebody that might be fit for this job. Because there's always that situation where it's like, people will ask, like, oh, do you know somebody who does this? Do you know somebody who, like, I can do this with, or I need this done. Do you know a guy? Do you know a girl? You know?
Yeah.
So for me, networking is just meeting very interesting people and having that network of talent around you.
Yeah.
This is not thought out. This is just like right off the top of my head.
No, I think that's great. I sort of have this like weird relationship with the word networking. Because I feel like traditionally, based on what you're saying, which is like very relevant to how someone would define networking. But my beef, or if it's beef at all, with the word networking is that it just feels like it's a word that it's an action of it's like something you do because you might have an agenda.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's not that I'm trying to use people when you're networking. Right, yeah, I have the same thing where it's like, are you only networking because you want something from someone?
Right. Are you networking with me because you're trying to figure out if I'm of use to you, you know, or something, right? So then I've always felt like, is that what networking really is? Because if that's what it sucks. Like, I don't like that at all, you know? And so I wonder if it's like there's a different way for us to describe this action of connecting with somebody new without an agenda. Because I feel like at the core, when you break it down, isn't that just like making a new friend?
Friends, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, take away all that, like, oh, maybe, oh, this person, what? Oh, I overheard they work at Google. Or like, oh, you know, I overheard that they know somebody at Nike that can help me get this job that I want. You know, like, and this is why, you know, I make an effort, because I feel like as you get older, it's easy to start a new conversation with someone at a party that you've never met before with this question. Hey, I'm Ann. Hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't want to know what you do, because I feel like if I know what you do, I'm not going to be able to help myself to like see how I can squeeze into your network, because, oh, that's actually of benefit to me.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that like the nature of networking is a very strange thing.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, when I first got to San Francisco, there was a lot of, I was looking for a job at the time. So there was a lot of like this push from people to be like, oh, you should go out and network, right? You should go out and network and just meet people. And I felt a certain way. Okay, so my idea of networking when I was younger is a lot different from my concept of networking today. Back in the past, I am somebody who doesn't like to rely on people, doesn't like to depend on somebody, like nepotism and like all that stuff. Like, I don't want to be somewhere because I know somebody.
Oh my gosh, girl,
I had this
I feel
huge
you.
like, you know, this thing where it's like, no, I'm too, like, I can get there myself.
Yep,
I can
I'm gonna
climb
make it
this
on my
mountain.
own.
Right. I don't need help from anyone. And that was, I think I would change that about myself. And that's something that I think very differently about nowadays, because I was just like so just like against any kind of relying on somebody to get a position that you wanted, that I rejected all sorts of help. Like, anytime somebody offered help, I was like, nah, I got it. It's okay. Thank you so much, but I got it. And so when I first got here and I thought about networking, I was like, oh, but that's so icky. Like, I don't want to just go and meet somebody in hopes that they're going to give me a job or they're going to get my foot in the door or whatever. However, being here and the whole, like, concept of how I even landed in San Francisco. So my partner, actually, we went to this 1st of July, which is Canada Day, party back in Toronto. And we were meeting a lot of people, and one of the guys that we spoke to actually worked here. And that's how, you know, my partner got the connection in order to get an interview to even apply for the job that he got in San Francisco. And so back in the day, I was like, you know, good for you, do your thing, but I don't want that kind of help, right? And it wasn't until now, more recently, I realized that even if somebody gives you that introduction, that reference, if you don't have what it takes, you're not going to get through the filters. You're not going to be able to pass the test, the interview, whatever it is. And after that, you still have an opportunity to prove yourself and what you're capable of. So even if you do get that little lift, it's not such a shameful thing, you know? So for me, it's more like a toss-up now. It's like, okay, now I understand the importance of knowing people, not necessarily for personal gain, but I no longer see it as an embarrassing thing, right? It's no longer something that I would be embarrassed about because I knew somebody who gave me this job or whatever, because now I know that, like, especially a lot of the corporate jobs that I've been able to like, or gigs that I've been able to get have been because I knew somebody who introduced me to somebody else, who introduced me to somebody else. So a network is not so much like I want something specific from you. It's just so that people, you know, you're sharing with people what you do, what they do, and when you get the opportunity, they can make use of it and be like, oh yeah, I know somebody that can help out.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I learned pretty early in my professional career that this is just how it works. Like, if you want to get the job that you want, you have to know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
Who knows somebody.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. Especially like any job that you would really be interested in around here. Like, good luck trying to get that on your own without any help. Like, I don't care how good you are. There are a lot of great people out there. And so in order for you to even have a chance to get your resume seen, because every job out here is hot and there are always like 50, 100 people applying for each job, and the talent is deep. And so in order for you to even get seen, you got to get somebody to give the recruiter a heads up or the hiring manager a heads up.
Yeah.
And again, it's not guaranteed. You still have to do the work once you get there when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least you cut through some of the noise by knowing this person.
Yeah.
And so, and I can say right now, every single one of my corporate jobs, or even like every single one of my job besides my first job out of college, has been a referral, like through someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that you mentioned luck, because what we say about luck, where opportunity meets preparedness. And I think that's sort of what networking is you cast a wide net, you get to know a lot of people, and when the opportunity comes, then you just have a higher likelihood that they're going to have eyes on you. But you still have to be prepared for it. You still have to be qualified and skilled. It's not like when somebody refers you to someone, they're just going to take you in. They're just going to hire you on the spot. It's a lot about like, are you prepared for this opportunity that's coming to you? How hard have you worked to that day,
Yeah, and I think like networking itself, again, like going back to like my beef with it, it's like I love it and I hate it. And I love the idea of networking, but I don't like what we're calling it. Like, because again, it doesn't have this like positive like vibration to it, like the kind that I would seek out. When you meet someone for the first time and you have a genuine connection with this person, not from like a romantic sort of way, but it's like, wow, this person is so interesting. Wow, they're so smart. Like, I feel like I can learn so much from this person. Regardless of like where they are in life and how they can help me, like this person is so cool. I want to be your friend. I want to hang out with you. And I feel like for me, and I don't know who and where and when I learned this from, but I'm super grateful that's how I've learned to treat networking this way, is to always meet someone consciously knowing that I don't want anything from this person. Like, I just want to meet you. Like, tell me about you. And I feel like that's helped me build like a lot more genuine relationships than going in wondering how this person can help me further along my journey. And so I think it's really important to just remember that when you meet someone new, or someone introduces you, to someone that could potentially help you, to really just take a step back, like humble yourself, and like you're no better than whoever you're being in touch with, and just be authentic.
And stop wanting, I guess, like what you said, stop wanting something from somebody when you're interacting with them. Because a lot of what happens in networking, the magic behind networking and making friends, is that it'll happen somewhere down the line.
Somewhere down the line?
Right.
Okay. Yes, that's such an important statement. It's like, if you are really genuine, and also if like you've been on this earth long enough to where you can see through someone's BS, then you'll know right away if this person is just talking to you because they want something from you. And so it's so funny. Like, even for me, I mean, honestly, like, I'm just giving away like all my secrets right now. But
that's
like,
what this is for.
I feel like if I'm being fully transparent, Vicky, there are people in my network, that I am just building a friendship with, because I see that there's a way that can be more, like this relationship can be more than just a relationship. And I see, like, I hate to use the word potential because I have beef with the word potential, but we'll get into that later. But I just feel like I believe everything happens for a reason. And that includes the people that I meet in my life. Like, I am crossing paths with you. I'm crossing paths with someone for a reason. And I may not know what that reason is yet, but in order for me to find out, I need to keep building a rapport with this person, with this relationship. And it always leads to something. And so I think there definitely are a handful of relationships in my books right now where I'm building that rapport because I can see something happening of mutual benefit. So that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, totally. And I want to talk about a little bit, like, what type of, like, networking, how would you say networking plays a role in your daily life, or like what you're doing now, especially now that, you know, you're not in that traditional work environment where you're exposed to a lot of people, like necessarily every day you'll see a lot of different people. It's really like self-navigating, and you sort of have to be in charge of how many people you're exposed to on the daily. Like, what do you do?
Networking for me these days are actually through, is no longer on my own, which I'm super grateful for. I feel like I've collected enough people, or enough people have allowed me to collect them into my circle, that it like, it's like, it works on its own. It's like really magical. Like, I don't have to do anything, and I'll get a call like, oh, hey, my friend happened to be in your neck of the woods. Like, you guys should link. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the way I network now, I get to those quality relationship like so much faster because it's already through someone who is of quality, and they've already vetted this relationship for me, and they think that we're going to get along great.
Right.
And we can help each other. And so I feel like every new person that I've met in the last year or 2 years has been through someone else that I already know.
Okay.
And every single one of them has been great. Like, I have such a good time connecting with them, talking to them, and like finding ways to collaborate. And it's so easy and natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody who is like early on in their networking journey, and like, how do you get to that point where you've accumulated a good enough network such that it's growing organically without you having to put in that effort?
Honestly, for me, it all came down, for me, how I built this all came down to my work experience, my professional life, honestly, up until this point. Most of the people in my circle right now are people that I've met just through working for somebody else. So these can be like fellow designers. These could be like tannery owners. These could be manufacturing partners. And all of these people I met through working professionally. And so I think it's really important to remember that they don't just show up. You know, like, yes, you can seek them out, but until you have a chance to work with these people directly and be in the grind with these people directly, it's, you know, that whole like misery loves company thing, you know, it's
It really bonds people.
Oh, heck yeah. Like, it, like 100%, like creates like such a, like it will either make or break you. And of those like ones that don't break, like those are the lasting relationships. And I have so many of those just through working professionally, and I'm so grateful that I have those. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I am similar but dissimilar in a lot of ways. Again, back to that whole introverted thing. I am so bad. I'm terrible at being the person to reach out, right? So again, like what you said, a lot of networking kind of comes to me these days. That's kind of how I'm like continuing on, is like, I keep getting people reaching out and being like, hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do that? And so I feel lucky in a sense that I have had that type of interaction with people. I mean, granted, there are a lot of times when there are people that I want to work with and projects I want to be part of that I have to reach out. But ever since it started where somebody has reached out to me, I think a lot of networking is, again, what you said with the grind, how you interact with that one person to begin with, right? So if you're meeting somebody who you think is very inspiring to you and you get a chance to work with them, you need to put in your best efforts in order to show them that, hey, I could be a person that you refer to somebody else. And that's like what I found has been really important in continuing to get these networks and these connections.
Yeah.
Because then you will be the first one that somebody else thinks about when they want to introduce you to somebody else, right? Like you first off need to be that type of person. You need to be reliable, you need to be a genuine person, and if you ever work with that person, you need to be communicative and do really good work, I think, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Otherwise it will be a one-time thing. You will never get a return reference, or like you won't get introduced to anyone else because you're that person. They're not really that good. And
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, I speak for you, but I am so picky when it comes to people that I get along with. And I'm so picky in a sense that I don't get along with everybody.
Yeah.
There are people that I talk to, I'm like, oh my gosh, your incompetence is killing me.
Girl, do you even know me? Come on now, we're like literally the same person.
I'm waiting for you to chime in, that's all. But literally, like, I don't know. So I feel like at this point in my life, or maybe like a little bit earlier, I feel like I'm very much like I'll take a chance, I'll go out and I'll have coffee with you. But then if it doesn't work out, I'm just like, don't rely on me to like touch base again, because I'm terrible at it. And again, very, very picky at who I interact with or like spend a lot of my time with, you know.
Listen, as you should. We all have a finite amount of time on this earth, and we need to spend those time wisely. And I'm not just saying this to be a diva. And it's like, okay, everyone has spend time at home with my loved one, with my work, with things I'm passionate about. Like, I don't have time for all that BS. You know, like, cut the crap.
Yeah, exactly. So like as time goes on, I have less and less people that I'm like constantly interacting with, but then also more and more people that I'm looking for that inspire me or do something that's amazing. And again, just finding people to share life stories with is a great like jumping off point, because I think that's where you can connect and you can like listen to what's happened with other people's stories. They are interested in hearing your own. Like, you don't want to just be talking to somebody who is just all about them, right? Having a good network means that these people, a lot of times, I don't know if I would call them my like direct mentors, but there are a lot of key people in my career so far doing sneakers where they naturally will reach out to you and say, hey, how can I help you? Genuinely want to give you an opportunity or ask you how they can be of assistance in your career. Who can I link you up with, right? And those are the key people that you need in your network that will help you to network. And it all comes very organically. Hey, talk to this person. I used to work with this person, and he or she knows a lot about this field. And saying yes to those kinds of conversations and learning about how people progress through their careers has been really helpful.
Totally.
Yeah. So,
Yay!
amazing. But yeah. Networking. That's networking. Let us know if you have any any of your own stories about networking or like what you did to network. If you're on any of those platforms. And again, if you like listening to our episodes, please give us a rating, give us a thumbs up, follow, subscribe. It really helps us out. And we want to keep making these for you.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Until next time, take care. Bye.